Hello people of YouTube, it's Deepak here, and welcome to the DCS news stream for the 24th of September 2022. I hope you all enjoyed that F18 tutorial video, the most recent one in the series, number 17, all about the azimuth and elevation display. It seems kind of complex, but actually the display doesn't really do that much. It's just an interesting additional way of visualizing your radar returns, and also gives you nice access to that FLIR integration and kind of the ability to do IFF scans quite nicely. So, welcome to the stream, Tech Gaming 45. Welcome Tog, welcome Pink Floyd, welcome Mangash, welcome Paul, welcome Milan, welcome Sim Taylor, welcome Byron. Hello indeed, you wonderful humans, you. Unfortunately today we don't have dotChuckles, so you're left just with myself, but we do have some news this week to go over, some exciting stuff that's happening, additional aircraft announcements, well, one to be exact, so that's going to be pretty cool. Tog, I thought the gun in the T-72 was complicated. Well, that's a symbology issue. Using the T-72's gun is easy. Understanding the symbology is more complex. Welcome, Leo. Good to have you all aboard. Good to see the Deeppak ground crew all present and correct. Very nice. So yeah, I'm going to continue trying to do tutorials for the F-18. There are still, unfortunately, quite a lot of bugs around weapon delivery with some of the more advanced guided weapons, but I'm going to do my best to kind of cover stuff around that. I think this is probably my opportunity to dive more deeply into the systems, and so I'm probably going to do some videos on the data link and situational awareness pages. I think that's still stuff that I can cover at the present time, while waiting for the other bugs to be resolved. Dave Flute, welcome. No dotChuckles, yes, very sorry. He's perfectly fine. He's just very, very busy right now. So yes, you're stuck just with me, but don't worry, chat. I'm watching the chat the whole time. You can still interact with me, and we'll go through the news as normal. Just missing out on Chuck's usual acerbic commentary. So first, let's, as always, jump into Eagle Dynamics newsletter for the week. Dear fighter pilots, partners and friends, it's with great pleasure that we inform you of a new project coming from third-party developer India Foxed Echo. This is in fact their second one. This will follow the soon-to-be-released DCS MB339. Please check out the details of the DCS G.91R below. This week we updated DCS Open Beta to version 2.7.18.30348. This update will provide new multi-crew features, the latest DCS H64D liveries, and other new additions and fixes. Read the full changelog. We'll go over that a little bit later. And the new flash sale is here, starting now and lasting until the 2nd of October at 23:59 GMT. You can land fantastic deals of up to 50% off on most of our aircraft, maps, and campaigns. Make sure to check out our shop for details. We will also be running an end-of-summer flash sale on Steam. Thank you for your passion and support. So, here we go. Another new aircraft for us. It's the Fiat G.91R. And first, let's start off by getting a bit of a peek at this. Here we have the cockpit. Looks like it's quite nicely modelled. To my mind, it's somewhat reminiscent of the F-86 Sabre, and of course this aircraft is from the same era as the Sabre, so that's probably not surprising. That looks like a photograph as opposed to an actual rendering, so I guess somewhere they had a real stick that they've taken a peek at. And here we go, here's another shot of the cockpit with the stick. Sim Taylor, not familiar with this aircraft, Yankee thing I guess. First image I saw of it, thought it was a dog model Sabre. Yes, it is quite reminiscent of that. It does look a little bit like a Sabre or a Super Sabre. But yeah, I'm liking the texturing here. The cockpit's looking very nice. Nice old school steam gauge cockpit. Got some rendering of the side panel there and the throttle. For some reason, this background makes me think of Counter-Strike. And there's an external shot of the aircraft. And yes, very kind of Sabre reminiscent, even including things like the wing fences here. Make it look a little bit Sabre-like. Are these all the pictures we've got? No, we've got another one here over the Marianas. and then back to Tornado, which we won't talk about right now. So yes, the G.91 is an Italian jet fighter of the Cold War era that was designed and optimized for strike and reconnaissance missions. The G.91 originated from the 1953 NATO NBMR-1 competition that sought a lightweight strike fighter to be adopted as standard equipment across air forces of the various member nations. The G.91 was declared the winner of the competition in 1958, and it entered operational service with the Italian Air Force in 1961 and the West German Luftwaffe service the following year. It was also evaluated by the US Air Force, and it was adopted by the Portuguese Air Force. It saw extensive service during the Portuguese colonial war in Angola and Mozambique. Talk, clearly a spaghetti jet fighter. Well, it is a Fiat. India Fox Echo Visual Simulation is developing a full fidelity module in 4 versions. We're going to get the R1B version, which is the Italian version, with 4 12.7mm Browning M3 machine guns and 2 underwing hardpoints. We're also going to get the R-3 German version with 2 30mm DEFA M552 cannons and 4 underwing hardpoints. And we're also going to get the R-4 Portuguese version, a hybrid version between the R1B and the R3, with 4 12.7mm Browning M3 machine guns and 4 underwing hardpoints. We'll also get the PAN, which is the aerobatic version converted from the A version for, now I'm going to absolutely murder this, tricolori, I guess that means 3 colours, aerobatic team. I'm assuming that's the Italian aerobatic team. Apologies to all Italians. Pink Floyd, not interested in the G91, but the gauges do look very well done. Yeah, I think India Fox Echo have proven that they know how to model stuff. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, I might give this one a try. I always really enjoyed flying the Sabre, and you know, again, this looks very, very much like a Sabre. Yeah, you know, same era, same kind of technology. The only thing I'm not so sure about is, do we have a radar? Because, of course, the Sabre has a radar. This, I don't see a radome, and I also don't see a radar scope. So, yeah, interesting. Interesting. It may be the case that we don't have a radar in this aircraft, which is fine. Yeah, and it seems to have some kind of navigational unit here as well with wind correction. So yeah, overall, very, very interesting aircraft. It is, of course, possible that it has that kind of radar ranging style of radar, where it's literally just whatever's in front of the nose, it's returning the range to that particular target. Tech Gaming 45, welcome. Sim Taylor... well, I don't know enough about it to know if I'm interested or not. Having worked on Fiat cars before, it does kind of make me nervous. Dear. Radar was expensive back in the day. Well, yeah, probably true. Anyway, moving on, Open Beta. The DCS Open Beta has been updated to version 2.7.18. numbers this week. This version includes several bug fixes to the DCS F-16C Viper and AIM-120 guidance improvements. It also includes the AH-64D and Mi-24P multi-crew seat swap option for multiplayer. This is something that me and dotChuckles were talking about last week, and we're quite excited about that. That's going to make these aircraft much, much easier to use. Probably has an IR detector though. I would be very surprised. Aircraft of this era would not tend to have infrared detectors. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's good. Someone will need to look that up at some point. Maybe it has a radar, maybe it doesn't. Also, winter is coming. Flash sale. The end of the summer flash sale is begun and will last until the 2nd of October at 23:59 GMT on our eShop. We will also be participating in a flash sale on Steam from the 26th until the 3rd of October, 10 AM GMT. Take advantage of this opportunity to get up to 50% discount on our entire product range. Most of our campaigns are also included. I'm not going to read through all of these, but there is pretty good discounts going on there, and it's probably well worth a look. And in the meantime, I shall show you all a little trailer video that they've created for this sale. Sadly, sans audio, because it does have music. I don't want to get copyright struck, but here you go. Here is the end of summer sale video. The music in this is actually quite cool. And as always, we see a lot of the cool modules available in the sale. Harrier and JF-17, F-14, F-16, some World War II stuff, F-18, A-10, QA, MiG-21. I need to do some, Vigan, we need to do some videos on the MiG-21 again, I think, because it's been a while. I've got a fairly comprehensive series on it, but I think it's well worth covering some more stuff on the MiG-21 again. Very cool aircraft, and it has been, the internals and so on have been brought up to standard, so it's probably worth. Fiat, fix it again, Tony. Yes, that's what it stands for. Obviously. Very, very nice. So yes, that's the end of summer sale, running until the 2nd of October. As I said, we also this week had the open beta update. Most notable thing, of course, being the ability to change seat when in multiplayer now. That's a really big upgrade as far as I'm concerned, and that's something that's going to be coming to all of the multi-crew aircraft eventually. But as of right now, it's just available in the Apache and the Hind. Got the Mozzie and the Hind in this sale. Is that the first time that they've appeared? Interesting. Yeah, Pink Floyd, MiG-21 when the Steam sale starts. MiG-21's nice. I think that's a really nicely modelled aircraft. And it's like when the VAF started, it was one of the aircraft that I flew the most. I spent quite a bit of time in that. So, a bunch of DCS World updates. Notable one here at the top would be the AMRAAM stuff. Improved position estimation and reacquisition when target passes through the notch. Missile Kalman filter was adjusted to significantly improve missile performance against maneuvering targets. Many other improvements. So that's pretty cool. F-18, mostly just fixies, although there's an update to the overall cockpit airflow sounds, which sounds cool. Yeah, really just bug fixies. The F-16, they've tweaked the LODs. They've added the M and F pole indications on the HUD. I don't even know what that means, so I'm going to have to check it out. I'm wondering if that's additional indications on the DLZ, because they were missing some of those. But yeah, I need to get a look at that and see if I need to update any of my videos. And then a whole bunch of fixies. Now, the interesting thing, they talk about the warning, and caution voice message logic. I don't remember these actually being in. So I don't know if this is something they're adding in this particular patch, or if they were already there but not always coming up correctly or something. I don't know. Because I always remember from Falcon 4 these voice message prompts kind of playing quite a lot, but I don't remember ever hearing them in DCS. Although I haven't flown the F-16 that much recently. So, anything else particularly interesting with the F-16? Mostly a bunch of fixies. Continuing tweaks to the AOA and G limiters, which is kind of cool. But yeah, nothing particularly major there. And then, of course, we've got the Apache, ability to switch the seats, ability to disable multi-crew for client helicopters and multiplayer. Added the option to disable the George AI subtitles. They've adjusted health of different components. And then a whole load of fixies. Hind, basically same deal again. The ability to change seats, the ability to disable multi-crew and multiplayer. We now also have a Petrovich AI voice language setting. Auto by default, looking at the avionics language, but we now have the ability to have him speak in Russian. They've added the ability for the windshield wipers to actually affect the raindrop textures. Work in progress. Added cyclic scrolling of the target list menu for Petrovich AI. And additional Petrovich AI voiceovers, which is nice. Yep, nothing else particularly exciting there. That top fix on the F-16 list, I have the 16 and haven't really flown it that much, but is this module really that prone to crashing? That's a very interesting question, Sim, because I've seen kind of the last 3 or 4 updates to this aircraft them mention fixies for crash to desktop. I don't fly the F-16 much, but I do fly it, and I've never had it crash to desktop, so I don't know how common these crashes are, but of course, any crash to desktop is just about the most serious kind of bug that you can have in an aircraft module, so I can understand them prioritizing fixing that. Yeah, Echo. I've never experienced an avionics crash in the Viper, and I fly it often. I don't fly it often, but I've also never experienced a crash, so I think it is actually quite stable. Tog. So the Soviet gunner finally took a class in Russian and speaks in Cyrillic now. Yes, he does. What else have we got? Any other exciting updates? Mirage F1 increased the number of cannon rounds. Oh, interesting. The F1CT only has the right cannon installed, and the F1CR only has the left cannon installed. That's an interesting detail. You can adjust the afterburner detent. Radar cover initial status selected via special options. And then some other small tweaks. A bunch of stuff being added to the C101. Really good Cavio dev continuing to pump out the fixes and add additions to the C101. Very nice indeed. Whole load of improvements to the Mirage 2000. Improved the flight model, the fly-by-wire, the autopilot, the independent inner and outer elevons, aspect-dependent RCS, loadout-dependent RCS, that's cool. Independent landing gear door movements. They've updated the emergency landing gear release. Runway hot start, radar switches and silent. And then a bunch of bug fixes. We've also got some small fixes for the Harrier. GF17, we've got some more fixes for that one as well. So yeah. A good update with, of course, the most important stuff being the improvements to the multi-crew, really. It's been there forever, but I've never seen it. Okay, interesting. I didn't know that. So yeah, it's a pretty sizable update that we had this week. I've already flown with it a little bit, and it's looking pretty good. Hopefully, we're getting some other chunky updates soon with things like the weather system and improvements to the comms. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, with all the talk of India Foxed Echo and their new aircraft, such as the G.91 and the MB339 coming soon, I dug out this video, which actually is a good few months old now. Actually, it's almost a year old now, but it's a demonstration of what they were doing with the MB339 with regards to canopy fogging and icing. And I thought this was a really cool one to look at because the only people who've been simulating canopy fogging so far have been Deca Ironworks with the JF-17, but I'm not aware of anybody actually simulating canopy icing. And this looked like a fairly convincing model of it to me. You can see that it grows and it extends across the canopy as you're flying through icing conditions. And I thought that was really nice to see. So yeah, really nice video. It's who was it actually posted this? It's Giuseppe Didiano. He has a bunch of videos on the MB339, so I'm assuming that he is either a tester or some part of India Foxed Echo's team. But yeah, I thought this was really cool to see, and it's something that I'd like to see other aircraft have. You know, we have a bunch of really interesting kind of details in the simulation that some aircraft have, but they're not universal. And there's certain stuff that I think should be absolutely universal when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, you know, I really like seeing the externally modeled ground power units and the air start systems. It's nice seeing things like inlet covers and ladders, and little bits of simulation like this, like canopy fogging and icing, is really, really nice to see. Yogi, the Tonka is coming, but can we talk about the Typhoon? Well, we have literally no information about the Typhoon at the present time, so there's not really much to say other than, yes, absolutely, I'm excited for that aircraft, and that would definitely be a day one purchase for me. Very, very excited to see a Typhoon. The 339 does have that in MSFS. Oh, that's cool. So this is something that they obviously already had simulated, and they're just porting across. Cool. Leo flew the F-16 in the VAF server today and noticed that you get a flashing warning on the HUD when rising the HUD. Very good reminder, specifically during takeoff. Okay, that's cool. Sim Taylor, oh geez, scare me just looking at it. Wonder about the de-icing equipment on this aircraft. Yeah, I don't even know what this aircraft has. A lot of military aircraft have got engine de-icing and wing de-icing, but almost certainly there's nothing specific for the canopy. Other than, of course, the the ability to turn on the heat and try and defrost it from the inside. But that was quite cool. We saw a whole sequence there of him fogging up and icing the canopy, and then I guess as he descended, he was able to clear it up. Zigzag, I would like more SAM systems that the user can operate, from the SA2 to the Hawk, etc. That would be cool. It would actually be cool to have more SAM systems in general. There are a bunch of things like the S300 and S400 that we just don't have in-game at the current time. Sim Taylor, stoked about the Typhoon myself, enjoyed it back in the day, but hated the fictitious map. Yes, yes indeed. I think the man-machine interface, or the human-machine interface, whatever you want to call it, in the Typhoon is very, very interesting. The way that the engine instruments are positioned really, really high just below the HUD, the fact that you've got voice command and a really advanced HOTAS, and those push buttons high up in the cockpit with the kind of backlit and changeable captions is really, really cool. Like the buttons around the multifunction displays as well. As you press them, they actually change their text, which is really nice. I think it's a very interesting concept, and one that I've not seen repeated in other aircraft. Although, of course, today with very modern aircraft like the F-35, we're starting to move to things like touchscreens. Although I wonder, kind of ergonomically, I wonder if touchscreens are a good idea in a combat aircraft where you need to be able to instinctively move your hand, feel things, and press them. So, yeah. I'm not... I can't say that I'm 100% convinced when it comes to touchscreens in combat aircraft. Although, of course, the most commonly used features are all going to be on your HOTAS anyway. But yeah, I would definitely be... I would be worried about grasping for things in the cockpit and not being able to quite find them because they're touchscreens as opposed to physical buttons. Hey, maybe I'm being old-fashioned about it. Quick wine break. So yeah, that's all of the news that we had in the newsletter this week. I would love to tell you more about the Eurofighter Typhoon just now, Yogi, but sadly, really no additional information since that initial trailer. But you know what? Let's, because that initial trailer is very, very cool, let's actually just play it one more time for everybody to enjoy. Sadly, again, no audio, but hopefully you all enjoy it nonetheless. And I'm assuming that none of this is actually in sim. Okay, we can pause all. We can jump past all of this bit, which is just really music for the main part. Yeah, I'm assuming that none of this was actually in engine. However, it does show us the assets that they're creating for the sim, and it's a really good. Yeah, it's nice the way it's showing off the multifunction displays and things like that. There were a few people asking in the forums if they'll actually be simulating the pixels in the multifunction displays the way you see them here in the video. I hope that's the case. I guess it's all about performance, though. FCS, ready. Yeah. Pink Floyd, you get a small shock from the screen, like a friendly taser. That's not true. I'm quite sure that's not true. So here we go. We're seeing the helmet-mounted display and the impressive turning performance of the Typhoon here. We're also about to see an Iris-T launch, and it's crazy thrust vectoring. Comes off the rail and just turns 90 degrees, basically, there. And then chasing a MiG-29. Very exciting. But yeah, sadly, really not that much more information. I can imagine with such a complex aircraft, the Typhoon is an incredibly complex machine, that they might have quite a lot of development to do here. But, Heat Blur have the skills and they have the pedigree to do this, so I'm really excited to see what they come up with. Whoosh. Eurofighter Typhoon. Sim Taylor, with all the good stuff coming out, I'm going to be so divorced. Yogi, they will also be launching the Meteor missile at the same time. Yes, it's going to be really cool to see it with the Meteor. I don't know if are we getting the Meteor at module launch, or is that something that will come later? Because of course, the initial tranches of the Eurofighter Typhoon didn't have Meteor. That was something that they only got a bit later. So yeah, I don't know. But it's going to have the Iris T at launch, I think. We're getting a kind of earlier tranche of the aircraft at the very beginning, so it's probably going to be air-to-air mostly only, with some kind of very basic air-to-ground functionality. Exciting stuff nonetheless. Really, really cool. We have such a lot of cool aircraft coming to the sim. I've got to say, like, for me, and actually, I'd love to open this up to chat, which aircraft are you most excited for right now? For me, it's an absolute toss-up, and this is going to sound weird, between the C-130 and the Tornado. For ones that are coming kind of soonish, because the Typhoon I see is coming quite a bit further away. Actually, come to think of it, the F-15 Strike Eagle as well. Very excited to see that one as well. Actually, yeah, there's kind of too many really to choose one. But if you had to choose one aircraft that you're the most excited about that's coming to DCS in the next couple of years, what would it be, chat? Tell us all about it. Sim Taylor, I wonder how complete the models actually have to be. We know what happens when you push a button. As long as the result and timing is right, some functionality could be very, very basic. Of course, that is true. When you're simulating an aircraft, you don't necessarily simulate the system; you simulate the outcome. Although that depends on the the maker of the module, because I've seen lots of different approaches. You take someone like Phoenix and their excellent A320 in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and they've gone to great lengths to actually simulate the underlying systems. I know back in the day, Eagle Dynamics used to do a lot of that as well. Modules like the Black Shark actually have quite a lot of simulation going on in the background with regards to hydraulics and even electrical systems. So it's pretty cool what some of these people are doing. But of course, you're right. Sometimes you're only actually simulating the outcome, not what's actually going on in the background. Aaron Jensen, I would like the ED team to give ballpark release dates, 2023 or second half 2025. I get it's hard to predict, but probable year. I don't care if they slide, just to keep a release calendar updated. Well, of course, these aircraft that have all been announced most recently are not being made by ED. So I guess it just depends. It depends what the third-party module maker decides to do. They might announce dates, they might not. The other thing to keep in mind is that the module makers themselves are not in control of when the aircraft is released. They will get it to a standard where they think it's ready, and they then hand it to Eagle Dynamics to do final testing and acceptance. And certainly in the case of the MB339, we know that it's been submitted more than once, and that ED have actually sent it back and said, no, you need to tidy this up a little before it's ready for launch. Now, that's not to cast any aspersions against India Fox Echo. I'm sure that the aircraft is excellent, but for whatever reason, Eagle decided that it wasn't ready for release when they first handed it over. So yeah, it's always possible for ED to hold you back a little. Sim Taylor, aircraft, yes, yeah, absolutely. Echo, waiting for the F4. Well, how could I miss the A4, the Phantom? An absolute legend of an aircraft. Yogi's waiting for the Typhoon, of course. Pink Floyd, F-15E for Christmas. Yes, I do believe it's coming for Christmas. Frantic Stone, carry the Tornado in the C-130. Well, if you dismount the wings, then yeah, you can do that. Multi-roll. Tog, Eagle is love, Eagle is life. Yogi, Typhoon. Leo, Tornado, F-15, F4. Tech Gaming, Tonka. You want a Tonka. Paul Dillon, F4, F-15. Zigzag, A7, Corsair 2. Pink Floyd, C-130 and F-15E. Tog or the DCS Technical. Well, of course, the Technical is in-game, but it's not player controllable at the present time. And I don't know if maybe in the future it might become player controlled, which would be really, really cool. F-15 is actually one I'm interested in, says Frantic Stone. I think you're going to get your F-15 before you get your Tonka, so might need to settle for an Eagle for a little while. Yogi, where's Chuckles? Sadly, Chuckles is not available tonight. He is perfectly well. He's just very, very busy with work. So we won't see him this week. We might get him next week instead. Chuck is probably at the strippers again, says Frantic Stone. We're not gonna start these stories about him. Not again. the exciting news was last week. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Although I'm actually, I am excited about the G91. This is a cool aircraft, a good kind of contemporary with the Sabre and the MiG-15. Sim Taylor, F4, F-15, Able Dog, Corsair, C-130, Typhoon, Eurofighter. Typhoon and Eurofighter are the same aircraft. Kotla Peninsula and Siani. Yogi, so are we now down to one aircraft still to be announced? Yes, that's my understanding. I think next week will be the final new aircraft announcement for now. I'm sure we'll see more later, but these are the ones that were kind of backed up. DCS G.91R. Oh dear. IED. I think in the next newsletter they'll announce the final one. Sim Taylor, God, what a job. Test pilot for ED. Where do I sign up? It's the Lancaster, I bet, says Tech Gaming. F-14D. Oof, that's a good shout. Yeah, F-14D would be cool. Kiowa Warrior. Oh, Aaron, thank you. Thank you for not forgetting that one. Kiowa Warrior. Oof, that's going to be a cool one when it eventually reaches us. Zigzag, what's your Cold War dream jet? Okay, that's not been created. F111 and F105 is mine. Oof, that's a good question. Cold War jet. It depends how late you want to go with Cold War, but of course Jaguar would be... Yeah, actually, that's it. That's my answer. Jaguar. I would really like to see a Jaguar. If it's not going to be a Jaguar, then what else have we got from the Cold War era that'd be really interesting? I guess the other one would have to be the MiG-29. And of course, ED are trying to bring us a 9.12. I suspect that's not going to be possible because of the situation in Russia these days. But if we could get even an early MiG-29A, I think that would be excellent because the MiG-29 is an absolutely classic Cold War jet. So here's hoping they can still deliver it for us, but I suspect that's going to be a tall order these days. So yeah, we might not get that. F117, oh yes, very cool. Heatblur did confirm it, just no time frame. Sim Taylor, I'd be on an F105 Thunder Chief or an A6. Yep. So Yogi, Ed officially announced the Typhoon. Yes, because they've had a trailer and they did mention it in their newsletter. So yeah, I think the Typhoon is in the category of being officially announced. Buccaneer or a Jag? Yes, I agree. Buccaneer or a Jag would be nice. Buccaneer from Paul. Mr. Yeti, could you imagine if someone did the TSR2? Well, that would be cool. That would be cool. Although, of course, what did we have? Did we even have one prototype of that aircraft? It basically never flew. So, yeah, there's probably not a lot to go on there. I sat in an F111 at an air show. What a treat, says Pink Floyd. Yeah, that's a cool aircraft. Tog, it's not like we don't have a bunch of MiG-29s on the western end of the world. Just stuff talking to Russia about it. Well, keep in mind that a number of the developers still live in Russia. So I don't think they want to end up in Gulag. So yeah, for people's safety, it's probably best to not mess with that too much. MiG-17 needs to be done to fill out the Mikoyan stable. Aaron, Viggen variants, Gripen or a Draken, needs some IKEA love. I would like a Gripen, especially the E, the most modern Gripen E would be really, really cool. But if we can't get that, then even a Gripen C would be really, really nice. Quite capable aircraft, widely deployed. I think most of the Swedish Air Force is still Gripen C. I'm not 100% sure. The E is still pretty new, but very, very nice aircraft. I think we had 2 prototypes of the TSR2. Yeah. Yeah, that didn't last very long. But yeah, a very cool aircraft nonetheless. And in the end, we got the Tornado, which is, I guess, what we really wanted in the end. After they were unsuccessful in acquiring F111s. Shouldn't you say it's the F111? Yes, you probably should, but I want to call it an F111 because that sounds silly. Cool. Alrighty. Interceptor variant of the Viggen would be nice, and most of the coding should be done already. Yeah, actually, the Interceptor version of the Viggen is the one, if I'm correct, that was flown the longest and received the most updates. So that there was a much later version of the Viggen kind of air defense variant that actually had a much more glass cockpit and much more computerized or modern computerized systems. So that would be interesting, and it's a very powerful engine, a very good airframe. So it would be nice to see it with an updated cockpit and a capable air-to-air radar, because of course the version of the Viggen we have just now has no air-to-air mode at all. Tog, I really wouldn't mind seeing an F-117. Me neither. It's actually the very first flight simulator that I ever flew was F-19 Stealth Fighter, which included the F-117 and the F-19, which was a prototype that I don't think ever flew. F-111 or a Navy was the choice. Okay. Really cool. Really cool. So yeah, that is all the news that we have for this week. So I think now is the perfect opportunity for me to pimp the VAF, as I like to do every week. The VAF, or the Virtual Air Force, is a virtual online squadron that was formed by myself and dotChuckles. It has an opt-in milsim style experience where you have the option of joining as a freelancer and flying any aircraft you like and flying whenever you like, and there's no mandatory training. Or alternatively, you can join one of our internal numbered squadrons where you'll actually receive a type rating, full training, and all of that sort of jazz, and the ability to do additional qualifications after that. We fly every Tuesday a training session at, let me think now, 8 PM UK time. And then every Thursday we fly a mission, which is also at 8 PM UK time. You'll see the Discord link in the show notes below. Everybody is welcome to join our Discord, and that is the main way that we communicate and organise. It'd be really cool to see people there. Even if you just want to hang out and chat to people who fly there, you'll have an opportunity to speak to people like myself, dotChuckles, Frantic Stone, and all the other fun people who hang out at the VAF, Tog included. And we have channels for other stuff as well. We share screenshots, videos, we talk about other games, and there are channels for things like cooking and other exciting real-world stuff. So come along, join the VAF, it's a good laugh. Pink Floyd, you should do a Join VAF for Dummies video. That'd be cool, actually, yeah. So like the basics of getting on the Discord, installing SRS, setting up with the VAF repo. We have customized liveries for all of our aircraft, you see, and we even fly with certain mods like range objects and things like that. Tog, VAF really needs a cutscene screen you can throw up when you talk about pimping the VAF. That would be really nice. That would be right. Yeah, we should do that. We should definitely do that. So I'll work on that at some point. The other thing I want to give a shout out to is Deepaks Ground Crew. I've enabled YouTube memberships, and I call it Deepaks Ground Crew. It's possible to join by clicking the join button below. It's a small monthly fee that helps to support me work on content for the channel. I've already been able to do more content than normal. I don't know if people have noticed, but I'm managing to release. Usually I was only doing kind of 2 videos a week before. Now I'm generally doing between 2 and 4 per week. And I'm going to try to maintain that standard. And I've been able to do that thanks to the support of Deepaks Ground Crew and all of you. If you can't afford or unable or don't want to join Deepaks Ground Crew, then subscribe, like, and comment. That's a huge help to me and to the channel as well. So thank you very, very much. Thank you very much to everybody. The support that I've had and the support the channel has had has been fantastic. Hello, Leo. Sim Taylor, he lives in Missouri on a job in Oklahoma. I see. Quick mute for a cough. Normally I have an opportunity to take little breaks from talking when I'm doing the news with dotChuckles, but doing all the talking myself becomes quite tiring after a while. Milan, is the training server always online? My usual DCS time is Sunday morning because I'm mostly pretty busy. It should be, although I don't think it always is. I think sometimes we do accidentally shut it down. But policy is that it should always be on, and when we're not doing our private training sessions, it should be without a password. But if you join our Discord and go down to the server details at the bottom, you'll get all of the details of our server anyway. Although if you do a search in the server browser in-game, it will show up as VAF training server. Your Yota needs a flight helmet. Ha ha ha! That would be cool, wouldn't it? Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So did the real Grogu. Yes, yes. Cool. So yeah, that's basically everything for this week. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Again, if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and comment. Normally, I'm releasing a tutorial video every Saturday at 6:30 UK time, 6:30 PM that is, and that's then followed by the DCS news, which just happens to be this thing, what you're watching right now. Thank you all very much for watching. Fly safe, and I'll see you all next time. Ta-ta.